Hello, and welcome to another special edition of 1036 Stories of Our Pandemic. In this next half hour, we're going to focus on work. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, "No work is insignificant. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity." Work is important to all of us and to our families. And during these trying times, that work, that dignity, has been greatly impacted in some way due to the pandemic. State and national labor officials say more than 400,000 Wisconsinites and a staggering 26 million Americans across the country have applied for unemployment. Producer Raul Galvan spoke with several Milwaukee area residents who know firsthand what it's like to be among the unemployed.
I'm Sator Takanaev, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of a company called Ankada. We are an online platform for community casting. And what that means is that we find people in the community to participate in photo shoots and video shoots and so on, any media content you can think of. I started as a small business in Milwaukee 5 years ago, and eventually I converted into an online platform, which has been in existence as Ankada Inc. for about a year now.
We are Lisa and Dwayne Rodriguez, and we both work in sports broadcasting. I am a video editor, and I also do instant or super slow-mo replays during sporting events.
I'm Dwayne Rodriguez, and I'm a television camera operator for sporting events. I run both a hard camera, which includes being a super slow-mo camera, also handheld as well, a handheld camera.
I'm Deanna Calvillo, and I'm a hairdresser downtown Milwaukee at Rouge.
I'm Tom Halliday, and I'm a freelance trainer. I do training for Grass Valley on their switcher products and their newsroom products, their nonlinear editor stuff.
My name is Cynthia Herber, and I am an attorney in private practice. I am what we call a solo practice attorney, which means that I work for myself. I don't have a boss, and I don't have any associates either. I mainly work in the area of family law, some probate, and some criminal defense.
So coronavirus shows up.
Yeah.
What happens to your business and your personal
coronavirus. Okay. Well, and just sort of backtrack. So a year ago, I converted my business into an online platform. I brought two co-founders, two partners, and we've been building. So every resource, every cent I had, I've been investing right back into the company and to grow that online interaction because it hasn't been done before. So the sort of interaction we're trying to build in the tech world is brand new. So we are sort of innovating, and it takes time, it takes resources, and that's like before, if I was qualified as a small business, I think a year ago, I sort of went into a tech role and became a startup. And a startup means that you are investing every resource you have into that. So coronavirus really just definitely threw off our plans.
Tell us what kind of event you work.
I do a lot. I work a lot locally, working every Bucks and Brewers game, and that includes all the home games and then some travel games as well. I go on the road with them, and then for part of the season. And then I also do some national work, which includes college basketball for a variety of networks, including CBS and Fox. I do baseball for Turner Sports, and I also do college basketball for them as well. And some thrown in with a little bit of NFL for CBS as well. So I got a variety of employers.
I work mostly here in the state of Wisconsin. I do Milwaukee Brewer baseball games when the Brewers are here. I do Milwaukee Bucks games when they're here, which means I do not travel. Where Lisa might travel with the team, I do not. I'll do Marquette games here. And the only traveling or network stuff I do now is with the CBS network. I'm a television camera operator on their A show. And I travel throughout the country every week, every weekend, a different game, different parts of the country. Our crew travels to where the game is. So it's not, there's times I never even do a game in Green Bay. And this year we'll go through the playoffs and we'll do the Super Bowl this year as well in Tampa Bay.
My last day of work was March 23rd. I was supposed to be on vacation in Seattle. So that was canceled. And then I was told a few days after the 23rd that they shut down all the salons because we're non-essential. So I've technically been out of work since March 23rd.
If I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. It's all about billable days.
And when was the last job? I don't know.
Last job was the last week of February. So really nothing in March. It all started falling off the calendar at that point.
I was out of town the first week in March, and immediately after I came back, the court started canceling hearings. So I want to say effectively about 20 days ago.
And so obviously what's that do to your income?
Well, it makes it disappear. Without court hearings, cases are on hold, and attorneys, for the most part, myself included, work on an hourly basis. So I bill for the hours that I work, and if the majority of my cases involve an appearance in court, then I can't bill because there are no appearances in court. So I've had no income for the last maybe 25 days.
How long will you last before you think you have to find a job?
Well, I think thankfully with the stimulus that we can apply for right now. So we've been since day one, we've been on that. And so yesterday, I think finally there was a lot more clarity about how we can cover our payroll expenses, because we do have 2 employees and we have been paying them. So there is hope that with the stimulus that we qualify for, we can go for, as long as we need at least for another 6 months.
The morning of the 12th, I guess it was, would have been the day that the game started. And I went for a long walk. And when I came back, they started announcing, I got a text from my tech manager that said, "Come in, we have to strike the site already. Everybody's going home today." So they canceled that tournament, and that's never happened to me before in my life. Nothing that strange has ever happened. So I went back to the site, struck all the equipment that we had just set up, and found a flight back that night. And I ended up landing back in Milwaukee at midnight. And that's the last day I worked so far.
The last game I actually worked was March 4th. The Pacers were here against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then after that, I didn't have anything scheduled until March 12th when Boston was going to be here in Milwaukee, and I was going to do the Boston Celtics against the Milwaukee Bucks game here in Milwaukee. And then I think it was officially canceled, I think either the 10th or the 11th, and I haven't worked since.
My finances are kind of non-existent. I'm living off of my vacation money and my tax refund right now. I have no income. I filed for unemployment but was denied. And I applied for the small business loan, and I have not received any information, email or anything about that. And I filed both of those, unemployment and the small business loan, 2 weeks ago. So things aren't looking good there right now. Eating home a lot, staying home. So not really spending the money that I have. So no cash flow right now.
I've got enough savings probably to get me into the end of May, hopefully. But I'm also hoping for there's some maybe remote opportunities I can do at home. So, documentation upgrades and things like that. But we start looking at the end of March. Being self-employed, this is the time of year I have to pull a lot of money out of my account anyway for quarterly taxes, for the end of year taxes, and, you know, I have to contribute to retirement accounts and things like that before I file my taxes. So all that stuff hits this time of year, so it makes it just that much worse.
What goes through your mind daily?
Well, daily, it's where is the next paycheck going to come from? And in my line of work, that crosses our minds very often, because in the life of a solo attorney or an attorney in private practice, it's an ebb and flow. It's pretty much you eat what you kill. If clients walk in the door, then you have revenue. If they don't, then you don't. As opposed to some attorneys who are on salary at firms, I don't depend on somebody else to pay my bills. And so what goes through my mind these days is I'm really not sure how I'm going to pick up from this one, because what's going to happen is that, just like me, without work, a lot, if not the majority of my clients are people of, I want to say, limited income, people who depend on a paycheck and on work to be able to get money. And if they have been out of work the same way that I have been out of work, then the likelihood of them having money after this is lifted or this is over and people sort of return back to normal is going to be very difficult. And so I don't know that this is going to end when the stay-at-home order is lifted. I think this is going to extend for a very long period of time until people have expendable income.
I have a 12-year-old, so that was another challenge that I didn't expect. You know, homeschooling is something that I always thought is very, very difficult, and you know, I think that it's true. It's difficult. There are some good sides of it, though, because we can be creative with my daughter, so we can create things that we have in mind, and we have time to do that. I think it's just now what this situation is teaching me is that you know, first of all, I'm trying to be very gentle with myself and not really be super, because I'm very driven. So now being at home and not having all these outlets, it's kind of hard. So I am taking it easy. I am trying to take it day by day and put my daughter's needs first because she needs me, and then I can address other needs and sort of learning new skills of time management.
You find yourselves with very little work. What's the income situation, Lisa? Now I understand you got paid for part of that, and then what happens after that?
Okay, so we were extremely fortunate in some regards. A couple of our employers just went above and beyond and chose to pay us. They really stepped up to the plate, and they paid us for games. For example, that Pac-12 tournament for Fox, they paid us through the entire time that we were supposed to be there. For the NCAA tournament, I work for Turner Sports for that. Dwayne does it for CBS, but our employers stepped up and said, we will pay you for any day you were scheduled for actual work. And that helped get us through. That helped a lot get us through. And they really stepped up to the plate. There are, even though we're freelancers, we're kind of considered part-time employees of all these different companies. So for example, the games that we do here locally are for a different company than the national games we do. And we are waiting to hear. We're hoping that the company that we work for locally also, it's really would be out of the goodness of their heart and stepping up to the plate and helping the local freelancers out. So we're still waiting for word from that.
Every week, my hope kind of dwindles down when I'm going to go back to work. The first week, I thought I would be back in the middle of April. Now, I'm still hanging on that I will be back the end of April, but that's probably unlikely. So I've been texting and emailing my clients, and they've been super. A few of them have wanted a tutorial of how to color their hair online. I haven't warmed up to that just yet. I might have to, though. And also, I've had many clients send me money ahead of time for any future haircuts. So they've kind of paid in advance, but they've been very generous. So I suspect that some of it is just to help me out as well.
When you look at this 5 years down the road, what's going to go through your mind?
I put a lot more money in savings.
And over the last year, I've been very mindful of making sure that I save as much money as possible, just because this kind of business is unpredictable. You never know. And this is my only source of income. And so if I go ahead and spend all my money, when something like this happens, I don't have anything. So if I was to not get any income between now and, let's say, the next 3 months, I think I would probably be out of money probably by the summer.
Okay, and Lisa, as if this wasn't bad enough, then you lose your mom in the middle of this.
The whole coronavirus has been like a blessing and a curse for me. So it allowed me to get home, and my mom was in hospice care, and she passed from a non-coronavirus. But having this complete work stoppage allowed me to come home and spend unlimited days with my mom for about 2 weeks or so. I was able to be there and help out a whole bunch more than I would have been if I was on the road working. So it allowed me this time to be with her and be with her all the way through up until the moment that she passed. And that was very sad, but I'm so honored to have been able to be there in that moment.
I can't control what other people do, but I can only control what I do. And I think we should all take a time to go within and become introspective and try to reinvent ourselves and see what it is that we can do with what we have, and just be there for one another, because I think that the human cost, the human element of this whole situation is going to be unquantifiable. And if we're not prepared to be able to deal with people coming out of this, we're going to have a big problem in our hands.
We've really got to take care of ourselves, because we're not getting paid for the games that we're not working. So obviously those people who are not paying us for the games that we're missing, they're not looking out for us. We have to look out for ourselves. And I think everyone needs to look out for themselves as well.
I am worried, and I don't know how they're going to look when we do get back to work. So I miss work.
As hard as it can be, and I know, because like I've told you, I'm facing a lot of adversity right now. I still take this as a blessing, as something that will, eventually make me a better person. And I think that everyone can do that.
Everyone in the piece is still awaiting notice of their first gig after coronavirus. Attorney Herber has accepted a new position out of state. For more information on unemployment or to watch more stories of our pandemic, just head to MilwaukeePBS.org. We are so grateful for all the first responders and healthcare workers who are on the front lines of this pandemic. Their days and nights are exhausting, and their dedication to keeping people alive is extraordinary. Becky Petker is an ICU nurse at a Milwaukee hospital. Listen to her story.
I'm just finishing my shift for the weekend. I've worked about 22 hours in 2 days, and it's almost midnight. I'm lucky enough that I only work every other weekend, so I'm a little tired, but not too bad compared to most of my coworkers who are putting in 7 days straight, 12 hours a day. We are wearing full protection, masks all day. I don't know if you guys can see, I've got some burn marks here from the mask that we wear. We wear goggles, and then we wear head coverings all day. And then when we have any COVID positive patients, we are in gowns, booties, and gloves. And that's what we wear. Sometimes 2 masks at a time, N95 being our protector for COVID, and then the simple mask over that. Our N95s, we're keeping up to 4 UV treatments. They're normally a single use, but because of the PPE issue, we are putting them under the UV lights. We don't know how safe it is, but right now that's the best we can do. We are going through PPE at alarming rates to keep us safe. It's not sustainable, so I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. As far as what's going on kind of on the outside, we were all in a room taking care of a really sick patient when we heard about the protests like the one in Brookfield. And to be honest with you, we felt pretty stabbed in the back. I think that if people could see what we see, they would understand a little better. I don't think that COVID is a political issue. This is a public health crisis. It should not be made political. I don't pretend to know what the right answer is, but I do know that if we open up all at once, we are going to see a huge surge that we are not going to be able to control.
Thank you, Becky, and fellow healthcare workers for all that you do. To hear more from Becky, head to MilwaukeePBS.org under our stories of our pandemic. A minority business owner in Milwaukee says she's proud of the business she's built the past 10 years. While the pandemic is a huge financial burden, she remains hopeful that she'll get back to work soon.
My name is Takara Henry. I am the proud owner of Bijou Nails & Company, Milwaukee's largest African-American owned nail salon in the city of Milwaukee. We're located in the historic King Drive Business Improvement District. I have owned this business for over 10 years now. Typically on a Friday or Saturday, this place would be so full of life. We have 2 hairstylists, we have a makeup artist, we have 3 nail techs, we have a loyal client base, our Bijou Beauties. On a Friday or Saturday, for this place to be empty, it's definitely surreal. It's very surreal. It's difficult to digest. It's difficult to be here because I know what I'm used to. I know what we're used to here. To be a woman-owned, a minority woman-owned business, and to be in business for over 10 years, it says a lot. The simplest way that you can help my business, Bijou Nails & Company, and the talented staff members that I have here would be to wait on us. Because this does have a financial impact on my business, although difficult, I have to humble myself and I have to say you are welcome to cash at us. We're all sitting it out and we're all waiting for this to pass. And I know one thing for sure is the day that this is lifted, everybody is going to be ready to go. We are going to, get back into the swing of things. My appointment book is going to stay open because I'm hopeful that this will lift very, very soon.
We're hanging on to hopeful, that's for sure. At the same time, we're living a lot from 6 feet away, virtually, from curbside. Milwaukee photographer Andrew Feller has captured the faces of small business owners and workers from curbside. He calls them curbside portraits. We leave you now with what Andrew sees through his lens, a sense of community and support during these difficult times.